Hey everybody, I'm making a video now. I'm gonna make sure my head is in the screen. Sit down on my stool. Here's Sassy, my squirmy female tegu, my red and black and white tegu. They're strung out today. They've been sleeping the last couple of days. Let me put her down so she stops scratching me. Put her down. And I have some of my snakes out. This is primarily going to be a snake video, not a tegu video. Oh, here she comes. I'm not wearing shoes. Sorry. She's in anything that looks like a mouse or a worm or anything. My toes, she's gonna get and try to get it. And I gotta be really careful because I don't want to be bit by the tegus. She's so squirmy. She's such a lovely animal. I love this tegu. Even though she's acting unruly right now, I'm going to put her in her cage so she can't get my toes. She was excited to get out. I just wanted to share, I've been depressed the last 6 days. We had a bad storm come through. And similar to Category 1 hurricane winds, straight line winds, and it just really leveled outside in my neighborhood, and my house got hit really, really hard. And for the last 4 or 5 days, I've just been outside having to cut wood and trees down and limbs. And of course, being outside, I got bit by a lot of insects, and I'm allergic to a lot of insect, their saliva or their lubrication with their little needles that go into you and suck your blood. And I get really sore and really whelps on my head and my ears. The bugs here bite my ears, and they get infected really, really fast, even though I'm cleaning them. So I just wanted to come to you and haven't made a snake video. And I want to go over some things real quick that have transpired over the last 2 weeks. Be helpful, maybe informative. It's what I've learned. So you're learning through me, so you don't have to do this. So here we go. My house is really, really in disarray. Let me move my camera up. My house is really in disarray, and I just got my power back on. It was gone for almost 7 days. And if you haven't had power go out, I don't think I've ever had power go out for more than 2 days, 3 days maximum. So almost 7 days was pretty intense. I have a generator and stuff, and it's running, but I can only power 2 or 3 things. And so the house is just in total disarray with cords and everything everywhere. And the snakes, I had the generator running to keep it 82 degrees, 81, 80 degrees in here, but sometimes I had to unplug and go do other areas of the house. And so it would get down to about 77, and I think that's perfectly fine for boas, but I could tell they were a little cold. And then I had to heat the tegus at night because it would get down to like 76 in the middle of the night, but it gets hot during the day in the 85s and very, very, very humid. It's showing 75% humidity in here on my little less accurate gauges. I want to just talk to you today. I got Manny out. Let me pull Manny over here. Sorry. I'll edit that weight out. Manny just shed today, and he is growing. Man, he's now at 4 foot and weighs a couple of pounds, or maybe 1.5 pounds, so he's doing really, really well. But I just wanted to share with you. And I've got my boas here in the closet. I had them in my individual cages spaced around the house, but I had to consolidate because no power for the 7 days. But I just wanted to share, I had maybe a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, I had all my snakes here in the closet. And this is about cohabitating snakes. I fully support that to a degree. And through my experience, I want to just share again what happened maybe 2 weeks ago. Actually, Manny was up here on the top shelf in this closet, and he was coiled up in the back and basically just chilling out. And so I had Leo. I wanted to feed Leo, and you've seen in past videos where I take my snakes out and I space them throughout the house so they're not around each other. But this time, again, this will be the second time, I had Leo right down here on this cage top, and I fed him. And Manny was all the way up there at the top. And so I was like, Leo can, eat this quick enough before Manny gets excited and comes down, you know, and we have a problem. I just thought that. So I fed Leo right here. Leo is my hypo boa. He's kind of a cream colored, tan, kind of orange, and he's up here sleeping, and I don't want to bother him, but maybe I'll pull him out. So I fed him right here a rat, and he was eating. He struck it, he wrapped around it, and I came back about 3 minutes later, and he had the head in his mouth, and he was eating that. So I shut the door, because I have to shut this door because I have tegus running around, and the tegus will eat the snakes and kill the snakes in a heartbeat. It'll be just devastating if a tegu got to one of these snakes. So I have to shut the door. I have to do all this monitoring between tegus and snakes. So he was eating that, and so I went on the computer maybe for 5 minutes, and I was like, oh shit, I need to go check on Leo, just make sure it's a good idea never to leave your snakes. And that's what's key when you're feeding your snakes. I think it's very important that you not leave, or you check in on them every couple of minutes until they actually have the rodent down, or chicken or bird or whatever, in past their mouth, and it's going down into their stomach. Just a good thing to check on in case they're choking, if anything happens. And I feed pretty much frozen, thawed rodents to all my snakes. And Manny up top had just hauled ass down through all this intricacy down, and had Leo. They had bitten each other again, and they had wrapped up in a ball. And I was like, oh my God, that's really, really stressful when that happens. So I had to separate them, which was much, much harder to do this time. And Leo had bitten Manny pretty well, and then Manny had bitten Leo, and they were both biting each other, and Leo had Manny in a pretty aggressive chokehold. And so I had to really act fast, and it was difficult. You know, most snakes have recurved teeth, and so pulling a snake off, if it's on you too, is very, very difficult. It causes more damage if you pull off. So you got to be sensitive in how you pull them off. But not very much damage from the teeth from both snakes, and both snakes were a little bit riled up, but they were both okay. No real physical damage was done. But again, a lesson that I've got, I mean, just 100%. If you're cohabitating snakes, you can cohabitate them. I'm not saying venomous snakes or other snakes. I'm just talking about my 4 boas. You have to try this on your own with other snakes and monitor them for months. If you choose to do this, or if you want to do this, probably best to, you know, let them be together maybe for a couple hours and then separate them again. I actually feel comfortable keeping my boas together in this one room outside of their cages, but when it comes to food, it's just an absolute no-no. I mean, and it took a second time for this to happen to just 100% know that Manny is the king leader of this closet, and when he smells food, he's going down and he's getting that food no matter what. And then Leo's next on that chain of queen, king, queen, and so he will beat up on the smaller ones if they have food, and maybe go after Manny, the larger Nicaraguan boa, and try to get his food. So when it comes to feeding, no cohabitation. But otherwise, if you're not feeding them, then you just have to make the decision whether you can keep your snakes together, but it just takes a lot of observation. Okay, I'm splitting into this video a little bit later. And I want to just mention also to a point that I didn't mention during my original video, is that when a snake gets a mouse, and I've discussed this with a couple other people that watch my YouTube videos, and it's obviously a very clear point that when a snake eats and wraps around a mouse, then that snake has the scent of mouse on them. And so it doesn't matter if they're a mouse or a snake. When the other snake sees or smells that rodent, they don't see the other snake as a snake. They lose their tendency to think right, and then they think that's a mouse, and they bite on to that snake, and that's when bad things can happen. And then you can actually have a snake die from another snake, and then even maybe you know, depending on size of the other snake, you know, they could eat the other snake. And it also depends on, too, how hungry your snakes are. And it seems with my snakes, especially Manny and Leo, that if they don't get fed, you know, minimally every 2 weeks, they are starving. And they should be able to go much longer than that. And since they're growing up into maturity, they may be going a month, you know, down the road, a month, you know, one feeding a month. But that means that they're acting like they're starving. And so depending on how hungry your snake is, when they see or sense something else that disrupts their mind, and they're like, I'm going to eat that, and that's a rodent, or that's food. And so that's what I want to touch base on, and it's very, very important. And that's why you know, having a food source in a place where there's multiple snakes, then there can be a lot of confusion, and it would just be detrimental to come in and find one of your snakes dead or even eaten. And I actually had an encounter of that maybe, I don't know, 6 months ago, where I thought one of my young snakes had gotten eaten, but thankfully the snake didn't, and it had just gotten into a very small crack or space, and it had stayed there for a week, and I thought that snake had gotten eaten. So y'all know who I'm talking about and the situation that happened. But I just wanted to clarify that. As you can see now, here's Manny is out. I had the lights off, and Manny cruises all around in the night. And I actually fed my other 2 smaller leopard boas just now. Took them out and put them in separate spots and fed them, and they ate those. And even my smaller, let me see which one was it. It was Carmela. Her eyes are so gray and blue that she can't even see. I mean, can't even see anything, and she's shedding. But I was like, I thawed out a small mouse, and I was like, man, I gotta feed her this mouse or waste this mouse. And so I put her out here, totally shedding, totally the point where you don't want to do that. And I put the mouse by her, and she struck that mouse and ate that mouse really, really quick. So your snakes will eat while they're shedding. Or at least mine did. So that's it for that. All right, Manny's not going to let me pull him down. And all the snakes are kind of hidden up there doing their own thing and around. But I just wanted to come to you today and make this video through my learning experience and my mistakes and my successes. I want to just talk to you about what happened and what I learned, so maybe it can help you. Again, I think it's really, really cool to keep the snakes together, and my 4 boas do really, really well. But when it comes to food, it's just a no-no. I mean, they have to be completely separated in different rooms, because if you walk out, you know, 5 minutes and you've got a 20-foot room, that snake over there in that 20-foot side of that room over here to that 20-foot side of room, you think it's a pretty great distance, but that snake, learning from Manny, I mean, they will haul ass over, and when it comes to food, and then when one's eating, they're going to fight over that food, and it's just not a pretty thing. Again, very, very stressful. Also stressful on the reptiles, and that's the last thing we want to do, is stress out our reptiles, or do something that will make them less friendly or make them more fearful of the other snakes or from you, because you're having to get in there and pull them apart, and you don't want them to associate you as anything negative. So luckily, I don't think anything was done to them, you know, mentally, in their little psychology. You know, nothing was done to them, because they're back to pretty much normal. But it's just a key thing that everyone needs to be aware of when it comes to food. You want to have really, really clear division and feeding. So individual cages that you can put the top on. Once you drop the rodent in there and they strike it, you can shut the top and they can't get out. And then the other snakes can't go over and get into the cage where the food is. Power just came back on. Today is Sunday at about 3 or 4 o'clock. It just came back on, and my life really brightened up when I saw my ceiling fan turning, and it really brought back some joy. And so I'm making a video because I have lights again, and I can take care of my reptiles. But again, thanks for tuning in. Have a great day. Check back for more videos, as I always say. Bye-bye.